you, Shane. Good evening. Basically, my job is to serve on various academic associations at our college, like the Academic Policy Committee and the Academic Affairs things. So, pretty much I go there and when asked, I give my opinion of what should be happening at academic-wise at our school, and these are some of the issues that have been brought to me that needed addressed. And I work at the ARC. I work really closely with them. Some things that we're working on are getting updated testing materials for the GRE, the MCAT, and the law school test. Another thing is Dead Week. It hasn't been very dead recently. So I've been trying to, at faculty meetings I don't usually get to talk, but when we go to board meetings and I talk to Dr. Zook, I'll tell her about these kind of things. And Blackboard, we want to see more teachers using Blackboard. The study abroad program, I haven't got to address that yet, but I think Dr. Pockenberry has done a pretty good job with that already. So we want to get the student government involved in that in some way. Academic honesty, we're working on that as well. Trying to get students to sign a waiver. A lot of the faculty are pushing now for students to hold themselves responsible and telling other students for cheating, but I don't know about that. Service learning, we're pushing for that. That's one of our strong points at Jesuit. We want to find ways that we can help out. Attendance policy for athletes. Teachers have already been trying to make adjustments because we have such a large percentage of our school are athletes. We've tried to make exceptions and try to fit them into the classes, and so they don't get punished for missing too many classes. And also, we want to get teachers to use a more objective scale in some classes. And so I would like to introduce a close friend of mine. She's a Wheeling native, and she's been a rock in my life. It's my honor to introduce you to our treasurer, Stephanie Elias.
Thanks, Ali, that was great. Okay, as treasurer this year, some things have been done. We started at the end of the last academic year with allocating money to clubs. Worked on the allocations committee with that, and if any club didn't receive their allocation at the end of last year, we worked with them at the beginning of this year to make sure all clubs had funding. Also have been working with B1s. They come in quite often, and they're really fun to work with, and I just try to make sure that they're processed efficiently and that students don't lose any money. Club and moderator training, we held a session at the beginning of the year and the end of last year, and then that kind of turned into our little brainchild called SLAC, Student Leaders Across Campus, and we've been really happy with how the organization has gone so far. We meet once a month, and it's basically all the club presidents meet here, and we talk about different things, try to get clubs to know what other clubs are doing on campus, maybe team up, and it's just a way to make sure that clubs are running smoothly, and if there's any issues, they can be addressed at the SLAC meeting. And there are still some things left to do, and starting with next year's allocations, we're already starting to work on that, even though it's February. So we're trying to change up the process there just to make sure it's fair and try to get more students involved. We're hoping to get Senate and SLAC involved on the voting decisions there, just to make sure, like I said, people across campus are involved. B1's going to continue to work on those. Those won't stop, so we can handle those. SLAC, we are trying to expand on that a little bit. At this week's meeting, we're trying to get some RAs, the student athlete, other groups across campus involved. And we're working to make a constitution for SLAC so that next year it will still continue to run efficiently, which I don't doubt that it will. And I've also been working with the student rec fee. I've been sitting on the budget committee, and we're basically trying to decide how to spend the money on the student rec fee. And the money was left over from last year's treasurer, and we're working to get a coffee shop on campus. And that's it. So right now I'd like to introduce Pittsburgh native and Schmidt, Vice President.
Thank you. As Vice President, I've done a couple things this year, hopefully.
The first of which, at the beginning of the year, we started, we brought it back, actually, a student judicial board, and where any repeat offenders go to a board that is a majority of students who then decide any punishments or, advice for a student who, needs a little bit of help. That is just now started this semester. We picked and trained the members last semester, and we've heard the first couple cases, of which I'm not allowed to hear the specifics, but I hear that it's running well. The second thing that happened was we had breakfast with the board, which was just one of the avenues to help students get to know the executive board, which we had at the beginning of the year, and voice any concerns that they had, and kind of helped us set our goals for the year. I've also reestablished our connection with the Cardinal Connection through Red Notes, where once monthly an insert goes into the paper that shows pretty much what we're talking about right now, which is what we're working on. I think it also helps students voice their opinions to us. We have a new email, and we're also on AIM during our office hours, so we try as best to be accessible to the students. I also chaired the Visitation Policy Committee that we formed through Senate. I believe our changes began Friday the 13th. So we got a lot of the things we'd hoped for, and we worked through the process of our first proposal, and so overall it was a good experience. And I also meet with Residence Life once every couple weeks and just voice the concerns that I hear living in Ignatius and from other students living in all of their dorms with things that administration might not be aware of, and then also things that we talk about in our student government meetings that have to do with Residence Life. My goals for this semester are to update and maintain the website along with Rob Koba. We're a little behind on it, but we'd like it to have all the forms that we need, new pictures, etc. We're also working on Milk and Cookies with the board, which is sort of like breakfast with the board, except for after Jesuit Idol on the 26th, we will have Milk and Cookies, and so hopefully we can play on the 30% increase of Jesuit Idol and get some more students to come. We will also be continuing Red Notes, and also possibly looking into the smoking policy along with Residence Life, just to determine why certain rules were put in place and if they really are the most efficient way and who might be policing them. So that's worth investigating and seeing what student government's input might be. I would now like to introduce our president, Valerie Van Grimes.